My wife cheated on me because she stopped being intimate, having 2 children. She invited her lover to our home. My wife, Jessica, lost interest in me and called her ex, Mark, to be intimate with her, so I revealed her secret by using recording devices. Hello, everyone. I've been following this forum for about 5 months, but can't just read anymore and need your thoughts on my situation. I'd appreciate any advice. I'm 37 and my wife is 34. We stopped being intimate about 8 months ago, and I'm at a loss for what to do. Important info. We have 2 boys, one is 5 years old and the other is 3. We are also building a new house. I'm not someone who enjoys seeing things fall apart. I prefer to act quickly to resolve issues, so I had a talk with my wife. I wanted to understand what went wrong. I asked her, "Why have you stopped talking to me, hugging me, kissing me? Why do you pull away when I touch you? Why have you stopped being intimate with me?" Initially, she didn't want to discuss it. It took a lot to get her to open up. Eventually, she admitted that she felt I wasn't enough for her. She said she was doing everything on her own, couldn't rely on me, and was making all the decisions and managing the kids. She thought she'd be better off alone. I'm an introvert, but not extremely so, etc. It was quite shocking to hear, but I accepted her viewpoint and promised to change my behavior to reduce her stress. I love her deeply and wanted to avoid a fight. However, I have my own thoughts that keep me up at night. There was a huge red flag that brought me to this forum. I believe her accusations are unfounded. From my perspective, I fit the role of a good husband. I work around 9 to 10 hours a day, but when I get home, I take care of our sons. I play with them, feed them, take the older one to the park, and put them to bed. I also get up at night if needed. Besides caring for the kids, I handle household chores like doing the dishes, grocery shopping, and tidying up a bit, though she prefers to clean because she thinks I'm not thorough enough. I maintain the car, manage the new house construction, etc. I do a lot to make her life easier. I understand it's hard with 2 young boys. The thing is, I'm not naturally proactive. Some people can't sit still without thinking of the next task to tackle, what to repair, or what project to start. Her father is like that. I'm not. When the day ends, the kids are asleep, and the house is clean, I like to relax with a movie or video games. I'm also not someone who would start his own business. I'm best in my field and prefer to be told what to do and do my job well. There are many people like that, and I'm not ashamed of it. I don't pursue any grand career. I don't dream of having millions in my bank account. I'm just a regular, good-looking guy who wanted to have a healthy, happy family and earn a decent living. I noticed she started to have a problem with that, despite us being happily married for 5 years and together for 6 years before that. The talk happened in January. After that, I began to act against my nature, doing more proactive tasks like extra grocery shopping, additional home repairs, basically not resting in the evenings. No relaxation. She appreciated it but didn't change her attitude towards me, so I had to initiate a second conversation. Seeing how she treated me, I asked her up front, "Do you want to save our marriage?" She replied, "I don't." It's hard to accept, but to move forward, I asked her if she wanted to go to marriage counseling. She replied, "I don't know." Then I told her this wasn't the time to be unsure, as our kids might have parents living separately soon. Hearing that, she agreed, so I found a therapist. She showed no interest in it. During our talk, she said some hurtful things like, "I married you only to impress my parents and married sisters so we can be a big, happy family and have beautiful children. I married you because I was enchanted, not in love." I also learned she met with her priest to discuss our marriage. I found a good therapist and we're now before our 3rd meeting. We learned that we have different love languages. I need touch. She needs acts of service. Since the beginning of our counseling, she hasn't shown me any affection. No hugs. After 2 sessions, I asked her if she liked it and how she felt. All she said was that she was uncomfortable sharing our life details with a stranger. When the therapist heard we hadn't slept in the same room for 6 months, she was shocked. My wife explained it was because she sleeps with the children on the bed and there's no room for me. The therapist replied that it's a bad example for the kids to not allow a husband in the bedroom and suggested buying a single bed to put next to the big one. I did just that, but I still feel alone. She is far to the left, the boys are in the middle, and I'm far to the right. Since the issue began, my wife changed her story a bit. She started saying she's depressed from being home with the kids all the time and said she was too emotional when she made her previous statements. I would never say anything like that to her under any circumstances, but I guess I had to believe her. She recently went back to work and we hired a nanny. The only change in her behavior is that we started talking, but I'm not just her friend. I'm also her husband, and there is no intimacy. It doesn't seem like it's going to get better. There are no signs of improvement. She doesn't care about the next counseling sessions, so I have to keep scheduling them. Regarding intimacy, she told me she doesn't need it at all and only did it because I wanted it. I felt like an abuser. She never was crazy about lovemaking. We had it once a week, which was fine for me. It could have been more often, but it was fine. This year we had sex 2 times, both out of pity. Once was in January because it was my birthday, and the other time was after counseling when I initiated it. She just lay there, covering her chest, waiting for me to finish. That made me not want it anymore. It's not what it's about. When I bring up the topic, she just says, "That's what I am. If you don't like it, just leave me." I don't know what to do. Please advise. Update 1. There was a situation when my wife tried to call her ex-boyfriend 4 times in a row at 11 p.m. She didn't talk to him but tried to reach him. I know this because we used to have an app with our 2 numbers saved, and I could see incoming and outgoing phone calls for each number. After that, I went nuts. Why is my wife calling her ex 4 times at 10 p.m.? I decided to check her messages on her laptop. I felt terrible, but for me it was justified. We're married, have kids, and she is acting weird. After calling him 4 times, she wrote him a message. "I'm going to keep calling until you pick up and talk to me like a normal person." When I asked her about it, she lied and said she wasn't calling him, so I showed her the app and her outgoing calls. She had nothing else to do but admit she did try to reach him. I asked her why, and she explained she was calling back. Knowing that she also wrote to him after calling, I asked her if she wrote anything to him after calling. She said no. Then I showed her the message she wrote to him. She explained that he got drunk and called her, started talking some nonsense. And when she heard that, she told him to back off and hung up. Then she felt bad about it and tried to call him 4 times because he wasn't picking up. Finally, she wrote what she wrote, and he didn't reply. I don't know what to think about it. It happened around the time she stopped being intimate with me. Her opinion on the situation is that for her it's not weird or bad, and that she kept it from me because it's not important. For me, any contact with an ex is a bad sign. It's unacceptable. Is she cheating? There has been no intimacy between us for 6 months, which is when the calls happened. Update 2. Thank you all for your insight. At first, I couldn't believe how many of you claimed that she is indeed cheating on me. It was like some science fiction to me, something I would see in a movie, something my wife would never do. However, today, everything changed. It became a fact. I feel stupid to be just another person like that, but I guess this is how life is. Now, I know I promised to call her ex and talk to her family, but I decided to take a step back and play it cool. Can you believe how easy that was? All I did was install a voice-activated recorder in our car, not even a GPS. It was there just 3 days. She used the car to work, then went to a workout, and finally she called him or he called her twice. I don't know exactly who called who, but I heard every word. It was a video conversation over the phone. I heard all the stuff I needed. Things about sex, things about each other's lives. They talked like me and my wife did 9 years ago when we met each other. Same attraction, jokes, etc. Something I haven't had with her for a while. Things about vacation planning. She wants to visit him this July. Wow. She gave him a time frame of 2 years to move back to our country. I can't believe it. Now, after listening to an hour-long recording of this crap, there are some things I need to process. I need to meet an attorney next week, etc. All I wanted to say is thank you. You opened my eyes. If it wasn't for you, I would have never bought the freaking voice recording device. And to think I felt bad placing it in the car, my God, I will be updating. Right now, I need to chill a bit and keep thinking about my kids and what she has done. They started it in September last year. It took me 2 months to notice changes in her behavior. I will be taking care of my old father for the entire next week in another city. This means she won't be going to work for a week. Instead, she will use my home office. This also means she will be talking to him in the office most likely. Would you place the recorder in the office for the next week, or do I have enough? Update 3. It started in September last year, so I'm out of the picture for a long time. Right now, she doesn't want to spend a moment with me around the apartment we rent. She always has some stuff to do and goes to her parents' place, friends' places, etc. She even goes to sleep or just lies in bed when we put our kids to sleep, 5 and 3 years old. The recording tells it all. She mentions she loves him, that she wants to visit him and have sex with him. They talk a lot about his issues. She told him she wants to go on vacation with him, also told him she will be his wife and that she'll leave me soon. They discussed his favorite love-making position, so yes, they had sex. It's all there. The point is, she doesn't know that I know. Her family and friends don't know. They just think we have a temporary crisis. She is one of 3 sisters, Catholic, every Sunday in church. We live in a small town of 20,000 people. We recently built a house, but it's not finished. I feel like she will file for divorce very soon. I can see she is suffering with me in the apartment, and she can't handle it anymore. Her body language and total lack of any conversation show it. She wants me out soon so that there will be some time when I'm gone, and then, within 2 years, the AP will move to the small town to live with her in our house and my 2 little boys. In the recording, she mentioned she gives him 2 years to come back to our country. People will understand that she needs a father for her kids and won't complain. The AP is her first boyfriend. They were together for 7 years before she married me. We have been together for 9 years. The AP is living abroad but visits our country frequently. I refuse to be played like that. Now I have an attorney and I will be meeting him soon about it. I can basically destroy her reputation by showing bits of the recording to anybody. Please help me with any advice. What do I do when she serves me papers? The attorney says my papers need a month of preparation. I would never guess I would be dealing with a monster like that. Update 4. I met with the attorney and learned some significant things. It turned out that burning her world down would not be so smart. The reason for that is that we have kids, and I have to co-parent with her for the next 15 to 16 years. Another reason is I have a lot of respect for her family, and I don't want to get them involved in the divorce as witnesses. Also, I would not win custody of the kids because they are small and have to be with their mother in the small town 1 hour away from me in the capital city. I would be an every other weekend dad anyway. Finally, I would not have permission to sell our house because the kids need to have good living conditions and won't have another place to live. The place they live now is a property of her dad. It's temporary. As crappy as it sounds, it's the reality in Poland, Europe. After our conversation, the attorney sent her papers. They were set to be delivered right after Easter. In Poland, it lasts 2 days, Sunday and Monday. I faked it all at the table. Alcohol helped a lot. Yesterday, Tuesday, I had a day off work and I was taking care of my 1-year-old son. She went to work in the capital city 1 hour away. In the meantime, my brother helped me take all my stuff from the apartment and put it in his car. The postman delivered the divorce papers, actually an invitation to mediation so we could divide everything like civilized people and divorce amicably. The paper states that she is in a relationship with this guy, and it's the reason the divorce will happen. The evidence I have will serve as leverage when establishing child support, etc. When she entered the house, I told her that I know everything. I have irrefutable proof. I'm deeply wounded by it, and she needs to contact my lawyer. Then I gave her the divorce papers and left to visit her parents. Of course, she started asking what I know and how I know, and denied everything. Her parents were in shock but believed me. I recorded it all just like my attorney ordered me to. It started with my questions if they think I'm a good, caring husband and father. They approved, and now she can't use them as witnesses against me in court. Like I said, they believed me, understood that it's a horrible thing she's done, and realized she destroyed their lives, mine, and our kids' lives. I thanked them for understanding and went to the capital city. In the meantime, I called a friend, and he took care of spreading the news to her friends. 2 hours later, my brother-in-law called me and informed me that she admitted she's been cheating on me with the AP, but she didn't admit to actually having sex with him. He informed me that everybody is on my side and that she destroyed our family. He told me her sister visited my soon-to-be ex-wife and told her how evil she is, but in the end, he told me that everything could be saved. He also cheated on his wife. She forgave him, and now they are very happy. Then her father called and also admitted that it's completely her fault, and she doesn't realize what she's done. He told me the AP will never enter his house and that he will stop financially helping my soon-to-be ex-wife. He even called the AP, but he didn't pick up. In the end, he said he believes it can be saved. Finally, her other sister sent me a text telling me that she fully supports me, but again, she believes it can be saved. I don't like that at all because I don't believe it can be saved. I'm positive about it. I'm afraid they will cling to the fact that I don't have some sort of a love-making tape of them, and my reasons are not enough to leave her. I have recordings of her saying things like, "Make sure you'll last more than 3 seconds when I come visit you in Holland. I wonder if your dad's thing is the same as yours. You know what? I'll come to that woman, and we'll ask her how long your brother's thing is, and I will tell her how long yours is. I love you. I'm going to leave my husband. Please record yourself and send me a video. Your favorite position is doggy style with back straight. I'm showing you how your life with me is going to look like. I'm giving you 2 years to move back here." All that, in connection with the lack of emotions towards me for 7 months, is proof enough to me. Right after the confrontation, she told me she never stopped loving him. This is proof enough for me. What do you think? Anyway, right now, like many of you mentioned before, she is crawling back after her family confronted her about it. She is writing me texts like, "I didn't know what I was doing. I can't imagine living without you. I'm so sorry for everything I've done. I'm waiting with the kids for your comeback." She also said that she didn't mean to tell me that she always loved him. I don't know. They make me feel like I jumped the gun with the divorce because I don't have the actual lovemaking tape. They don't know that. All they know is that I have proof, and she is not admitting to actually having sex with him. It's believable because he is in Holland, but he could have visited her here. Update 5. Many of you told me that now that the papers have been served, she is going to start crawling back in order to save her face in front of her family and to get me back because she needs a lot of help with our 2 little boys. It happened. She started writing to me on Messenger, but not too frequently. All of the messages were the same. "I can't imagine my life without you. I love you and only you." Some photos of our kids and a message, "We're waiting for you and love you very, very much." And that is it. It's been 5 weeks and she hasn't called me once and hasn't visited me once. She had many occasions, literally driving by my parents' house where I currently reside. Only messenger texts, far in between. We also saw each other a couple of times exchanging kids, and she didn't try to apologize or anything, just hi and bye. Her family started to communicate with me much more frequently. Her father called me twice. Her mother sent me a dozen texts with some links to Christian pages where they teach about forgiveness. One sister texted me and told me she's very sorry and it's all because my wife has been possessed by some evil spirit. Her other sister expressed how my wife ruined our family and doesn't expect me to come back to her. My brother-in-law even came over and took me out for a beer. He wasn't trying to be persuasive at all, just having a conversation about what happened and what will happen in the future if I won't come back. Sure, he would like me to come back, but he wasn't pushing. Basically, all of these talks were like, "We can't believe she did what she did. We would like you to come back to her, but we understand if you won't do it." However, the day arrived when I made up my mind, and my lawyer told her lawyer that I decided that I'm not able to forgive her and want a divorce. My lawyer presented my terms of the divorce, and now we're waiting for her lawyer's response. While I'm waiting for their answer, her sister started blaming me and literally told me that I'm going to destroy this marriage. She stated very clearly that it was my wife who started all this by being very selfish, but right now she is very sorry. She's crying and wishing she could turn back time. Now it is me who is selfish and who will destroy the marriage by divorcing her. It is on me now because I could cancel the divorce and just come back to my kids. I wouldn't need to come back to my wife, just come back to raise my 2 boys. She told me how I'm full of anger and how it will just evolve over time. She told me I should just suck it up and continue living with my wife. She portrayed this divorce as my revenge on her, but explained that this is really revenge on our kids too. I can't comprehend it. I knew from you that it's going to happen, that the situation is going to start shifting, and her family will flip on me. But it's still shocking for a moment. Today, I felt guilty that it is all my fault, that my wife treated me like garbage for over half a year, that she decided to abandon me physically and emotionally, that she wanted to leave me. So yeah, they sway me hard. It's very, very hard, but I won't change my mind. The divorce will happen. It seems like they now have this kind of narrative in which I'm the guy who is abandoning the kids. I was thinking to destroy this argument by presenting my terms of getting back together, which she won't agree on most likely. I don't love her, but I would do it for the kids because I love them immensely. No marriage, just partnership, separate finances. She leaves her hometown and moves with the kids to the capital city where I live. GPS in the car till she stops driving in her old age. Daily phone check. All that after I get my 7 months of dates with random girls. I would also not hesitate to cheat during the relationship and not ever tell her. If she finds out, there is no marriage anyway. I don't care. What do you think? It's just an idea, nothing serious. I probably won't do it anyway, but don't have any other idea to shut the family's mouth about me abandoning the kids. In Poland, Europe, small children like ours have to be near their mother in case of a divorce. I can't have them since she lives in a small town 3 hours away from me, and the kids have their kindergarten and nursery there. We can't share them 50-50ths. I'll be an every other weekend dad with all access whenever I want. It's sad and painful, but it is what it is. Update 6. It's been 6 months since the day I confronted her, handed her the divorce papers, and moved to the capital city 1 hour away from the small town. We used to live in a small town together, but now I live with my parents, sleeping on the couch in their living room. The dining table has become my work and entertainment space, with my clothes hanging on every chair. I work from home for 7 hours a day. After that, I usually help my elderly parents, aged 89 and 72, with everyday chores around the house. I do the groceries and drive them to doctor appointments. Besides that, I go to the gym or the cinema to escape negative thoughts about what happened. I see my kids every weekend. She drops them off and I drive them back. The weekends are great. I find myself truly happy when I'm around them. I did a paternity test and the boys are mine. There is no confusion here, at least. The situation with the divorce terms is a bit muddy now. It's hard to say what's going to happen since I'm living with my parents, and as a father of 2 and a grown man, I don't have any other place to live. I want a significant amount of money from my wife, plus she is taking over the mortgage for the house. She agreed to take over the mortgage, but offered only 1/4 of the money I want, explaining that's how much she put into the building of the house. The thing is, I didn't cause this situation. I'm not guilty of it and need a place to live. 1/4 of the amount I want is not going to help buy me a flat, so the conversation between our attorneys continues. The reason she's offering me the small amount is because she wants to keep the house. However, last time we talked, I learned she might be pushed to sell it. This is what she should have been doing from the beginning. She's not going to be able to pay the mortgage and pay me. We'll see how it unfolds. Other financial things like child support money, she wants too much, and that also needs to be agreed upon. She also claims I should be the one who picks up the kids from the small town and drives them back by the end of the weekend. It's a lot of fuel and time. It should be her dropping them off and me driving them back. As you can see, she is the one responsible for all that, but at the same time, she is ready to argue about divorce terms. Her sister invited me to her daughter's communion last Saturday. I went so I could spend some more time with my boys. Every family member is well informed that my decision is final, so they didn't even try to talk to me about it. I just took care of my boys while everyone was drinking and eating at the table after the ceremony. However, at one point my wife asked me if my decision is truly final. I looked at her and told her as calmly as I could, yes, it is final and nothing is going to change it. I am here now for my boys to spend as much time with them as I can. But she followed with how she is truly remorseful and how much she regrets what she's done. She told me she ended the relationship with the AP, went to an exorcist, told him every detail of the affair, and left it in God's hands. To that, I replied that I don't care about her priest and that if there's anyone she should be admitting everything to, it's me. At that point, it was just laughable, but I continued, okay, if you're truly remorseful, I am now here giving you one chance to tell me all the truth. Tell me how many times you had sex with him. She replied she didn't. Then I asked her, remember when you had that party with your friends from work back in October? Why did you rent a flat for a night on Airbnb instead of sleeping in one of your friends' apartments? After hearing that, she went numb, couldn't find any words besides, Why do you need to keep torturing yourself with it? I explained that if she was truly remorseful, she wouldn't continue to lie 3 months after I left her. That was just one example. I told her that to me, sex over video chat is the same, and I know she had it with him. She couldn't even count how many times she'd done it with the AP. After that, I told her, how do you imagine getting back together? You start a topic with me and lie the next second. Do you know that I would be checking your phone every day? What do you think about that? She replied that wouldn't be trust, it would just be treating her like garbage. Then our son interrupted, and the conversation was leaning towards the end. I finished it with, remember, you didn't just cheat on me, you cheated on our 2 little wonderful boys too. It destroyed her. She started yelling that it was the last time I told her something like that in front of our kids. It's funny because her sister has told me how my wife is suffering and crying every day because of all this. It's a true two-faced woman crying in front of the family and yet still lying to me. She even told me that if she wanted, she would be with the AP and her family couldn't do anything about it. Like I should be thankful that she ended it with him, and now she is in control of not being with him. Like, come on. I guess I'm just venting at this point and keeping you up to date. Thanks for the support you all gave me. I will stay strong and finish this mess one day. I think it's not going to end well for my boys, and they will need some psychological help. The older one is nervous lately, but I will always be there for them. Update 7. Our attorneys finally came to an agreement, and the divorce will happen shortly. She is taking the unfinished house, and the mortgage is exclusively hers now. The house is for the kids. I don't want anybody to tell me in the future that I caused the selling of the house as part of my revenge on her. Plus, I don't want to live in it in her small hometown, an hour away from the capital city where I am now. However, I am taking what I put in it, and that amount is not bad at all. The child support amount is not bad either. Plus, we agreed that she will be dropping the kids at my place in the capital city every other weekend. I'll just have to drive them back. Now I see my kids almost every weekend, but it is not enough for me. It causes me so much pain. I can't handle it sometimes. I just can't allow for 5- and 3-year-old boys to live without a father because of a woman who can't behave. I just wish I could have them, but that's not possible because of the law in Poland. I will have to start driving there in the middle of the week or something to survive. As for her, she keeps messaging me that she loves me, wishes she could turn back time, and that she is suffering because of her deeds every day. She softened to a point when she even told me that she no longer thinks checking her phone would be treating her like garbage. She allowed for it and told me I could do it all the time. She told me we could move out of the small town to the capital city. She agreed to tell me everything about the affair, every detail of it, if I'll take her back. She came to my parents and apologized. Something must have changed. Somebody must have told her something. She's willing to do everything now, actually showing some remorse. Last time, she messaged me this: "Thank you for not selling the house and ending it with me amicably. Agreeing to your terms also means accepting the divorce. I will have to agree in court, but let me just tell you that it will not be true. I don't want this divorce and love you very much. I know you don't believe it, and I understand it. But I want you to know that I hope I will have a chance to prove my love to you one day. I love you, and I'm sorry for everything. There are no words to express how much I regret all of this. Things like that sway me and don't help with the healing process. I would be a liar if I told you her words don't affect me. The vision of my boys growing up in the capital city instead of the small town is tempting. I really believe she has a hard time alone with 2 small boys, but she did what she did. She cheated and ruined it all. I thought it would get better with time, but the wound heals very slowly. I will stay the course. I will end this. I will update one day, maybe when I'll be finally happy. What do you think? Do you think my wife is truly remorseful? She only agreed to tell me the details of her infidelity when I'll come back, not right away. She didn't offer checking her phone right away. She didn't offer moving to the capital city from the small town right away. 3 months had to pass so she could show some remorse. When she apologizes, she is not even calling me or visiting me. She is doing it over Messenger. Her family turned out to be fully on her side now. Her mother calling me a narcissist, and her sister claiming I want to make money off the divorce and leave a woman with 2 little boys. Yesterday, I visited my kids for a brief time, and she offered I could stay for the night. I left, of course. I would appreciate some insight. Update 8. D-Day was April 7th. And here's my mindset after almost half a year. Such complex situations require answering the same questions every day. In my case, the questions are, do I still love her? Could I go back to her just for the kids? Do I want to go back to her small town where she lives and finish building the house? Would I feel comfortable with myself in 5 to 10 years knowing what she'd done? The answer to all the questions is a definite no without any hesitation at this point. That's it. Yes, I love my kids immensely and would want to see them every day, but I can't. I would want to love her, but I can't, despite the fact she wants me back. I would love to have that family back, but I can't. I would want to forget about everything, but I can't. At one point, I even offered her a second chance, which was her moving to my city with the kids to start a new life. She didn't even agree, telling me she has her family's help in the small town and won't sell the house because she wants our kids to have something in the future. When I told her the family is not the stupid building but a mother, father, and kids, she only kept her mouth shut. This is when I understood there is no us anymore. There is no mutual agreement. There is no middle ground in all this. I explained that I will not continue my life in the small town because this is where the affair started. He noticed her on the street, driving by, and called her. I continued that I absolutely won't finish building a house located 1 mile away from her AP's family house. I will not live another day in my life worrying that she might meet him someday. He lives abroad but visits family 2 to 3 times a year. Then the conversation ended. I hate the small town. She doesn't want to live in the capital. That's it. Here's a little example of her approach to things. We agreed that I'll just take the money I put into the house, and she will keep the building for the kids. Now she even has a problem with that because there's one point in the agreement which states that she is not allowed to sell the house until the kids are 18. Otherwise, she will have to split the amount of money she would get from selling the house equally between her and me. She claims this is unfair because she plans to finish the house with her own money, and in case of selling it, I would receive half of a much more expensive finished house. When I asked her why she would even think of selling it, she answered that she can't predict what her life will be like. I can't trust her at this point. I'm leaning towards just selling the building only. I can't live with the fact that I would be selling the house which was meant to be for my kids. Update 9. She wrote me this message today. I would like you to answer my question. I'm asking you here because if I were to do it in person, we would only shout at each other. You've told me who I am, what I've done, etc. And don't want to talk about it anymore. Having all that discussed, do you want to forgive me, leave the past behind, and build the family from scratch? Or do you already know you don't and won't ever be able to forgive me, and you will never go back to us? Please think about it and let me know if you want our marriage back or not. What does it mean? I think she is in no position to even demand me to be so specific now. I think there might be someone else, and she wants to clear the situation with me. I responded, I'm worth more than a messenger conversation and we'll talk soon. I talked with her. I presented my only 2 conditions for this marriage to last, which are moving to the capital city and cutting all ties with the AP and his family. The second one is clear for her, but the first one is an obstacle impossible to overcome. She is sorry for what she's done, but not willing to move to Warsaw because we will never have a beautiful big house there, and even small apartments are very expensive to rent. She argues our kids have it easy in the small town. She only pays the bills for the flat she's currently in because it's her father's building. In Warsaw, she would need to pay 4 to 5 times more for a smaller flat, bills plus rent. Plus, she has all the friends and family to go to with the kids after work. That's all true. I see the kids are happy and it's convenient for her. She said if we were to move, it would be only me who will end up happy about it. It would be food for my ego. It's just a tough situation because she is right about this. Even the kindergarten in the small town belongs to her sister, and we pay almost nothing for it. She just put me in an impossible-to-solve situation. I stand my ground. I will not live in the small town, but I also see it really doesn't make sense for them to move. We agreed that in this case, I'll just keep visiting and spend as much time with the kids as I can. I will keep taking them to Warsaw every other weekend. She told me she will not have anybody else and will just wait for me, and that I will see it for myself in the future that she will remain single. I find it hard to believe, and I don't really care. Maybe it's good because the kids will have only me as a father figure and not some random guy I don't know. During our conversation, she said some things which showed clearly that she is not a remorseful person. When I asked her why she hasn't even called me once during our separation, only sent me texts, she said she didn't have time with 2 kids running around the house. She told me she will never again speak of the affair and will never give me any more details about it. If I ask, she is done with it. She will not share anything more with me because I told her family about some facts she didn't want me to tell them. She told me that the AP has been writing to her for many years and she kept rejecting him, but when he wrote last year it was because of my passive behavior that she decided to start the affair with him. I just replied that what she just said is beyond disgusting. She just rolled her eyes and replied, "You're thinking only about yourself. You're the only poor guy in this." Update 10, I somehow learned to live by myself with limited time with my kids, and now I feel like dating again. Actually, I started using dating apps some time ago. I get a satisfactory amount of matches, and setting up a date with a nice girl is not an issue. In general, I already had 2 to 3 short-term relationships, which unfortunately had to end because whenever they wanted to meet me, I was busy with the kids. Every other weekend is totally off, but I wish they lasted longer. I always lied that I have some meeting or whatever, and they considered it a lack of interest from my side. The problem is, how do I navigate this? For now, whenever I meet a new girl, I do not say that I'm almost divorced with 2 kids. I found this is the only way for the second or third date to happen. Is there any solution to this? Is there any chance a girl would stay with me if I told the truth from the beginning? Has anyone had a similar situation? I do not necessarily feel like having a serious relationship for now, but eventually I would want to be in one.